the topic. You don't want work-life balance. Now, this one seems to have become more and more popular, this concept of work-life balance, as time has advanced. I didn't hear many people talking about work-life balance when I was 19. I didn't hear anybody saying this. I remember watching my parents get up and go to work every single day, and they definitely did not work at the kind of jobs that they would be super excited to go to. They weren't coming to work bouncing off the walls because they got to go to work that day. But I never once heard either of them complaining about having enough time for life outside of work. However, in the world that we live in today, I hear people talking about this all the time. Actually, as a matter of fact, one of my coaching members in the university was just talking to me about this the other day. She was talking about how, yeah, there are certain things that she has a business partner. She says there are certain things we could do in our business that could maybe expand the business and get us more people in our business. But the problem is, me and my business partner would not have time for life outside of work if we were to expand our business any more than it is already expanded. And this is a new concept. This is some new age concept. People looking for this work-life balance. Again, a new thing. And what I saw people doing back in the days, if you're in my age bracket, I'm 42 years of age as of this recording, you're in my age bracket, your parents, they just woke up and went to work every day. They just got up and got it done. And they figured out life around work, and they figured out work around life. That's pretty much what they did. So in my generation, we started to hear things like lifestyle design, to where you could build a career around the type of lifestyle that you wanted. And that became a thing, to where people could build a business, again, based on where you want to live, how you want to live, how much you want to spend, etc. And you created this kind of hybrid of work and life. That became the new thing. That's where we are now. And these days, with, let's say, people who are age 35 and under, some of you who are listening now, this generation, and I'm grouping you all just for this point. I know you are not all the same, just like my generation and my parents' generation, not all the same. But many people seem to want to prioritize life over work. And I'm here to share the idea that it may be better if you focus on doing as best you can with the work, because it will serve the life that you want. And I'll explain exactly what that means in 3 points here today. So again, the topic is you don't want work-life balance. Point number one, it's what I do, but it's not who I am. Has any of you ever used that phrase? It's what I do, but it's not who I am. All right, this phrase is bullshit. What you do is who you are, and I'm going to explain to you why it's who you are. And I want to know if I did a episode on this. I know I think let me see. It was episode number, let's see, I'm looking right now. It was episode, yes, 956. What you do is who you are. All right, so there's my refute. That's my refuting of this first point. It's what I do, but it's not who I am. All right, people have used this phrase for a long time, especially since the internet has come about. I see a lot of people saying this. I don't hear people saying it as much as I used to, but I know it's still a popular thing to believe. Even if you're not saying it out loud, you might be thinking it. And I'm going to challenge this idea and assert that what you do is who you are, whether you like it or not. Even if you don't connect your entire identity with what you do professionally, it still is part of who you are as an individual person. And I'm going to explain to you why. When you're describing another person to someone who's not there, let's say you're describing, to someone in front of you, but you're describing someone who's not there. So you, person A, you're talking to person B, you're describing person C who is not in the room. How do you describe person C? At some point in your description of person C, you're going to mention what they do. You're going to mention their behavior, whether you mention their career, whether you mention what they do on the weekends, whether you mention that they like to drink, whether you mention that they're a golfer, whether you mention that they're a really great salsa dancer, whatever it is, you're going to say something about what? Their behaviors, what they do. And since human beings tend to spend half of our waking lives at work, what we do, half of the things that people see us doing, which ain't, most people don't watch us when we're sleeping, half of what people see us doing or know of us doing is what we're doing when we're at work. Therefore, if someone's describing you, at some point they're going to bring up what you do when you're at work, which means you cannot disown what you do at work because it's half of your waking life. And this is what people know about you anyway. You can't separate yourself from that, even if you wanted to. Somewhere in that description, you're going to say something about what another person does. Again, it's a sport they play on weekends, the actions that that person takes, is the job that they have, What you do encompasses all of these things. I'm not saying that the only thing that is who you are is what you do for a living. So if you're a plumber, doesn't mean that's the only thing about you. There may be a million other things that are true about you in addition to being a plumber, but you can't disown the fact that you're a plumber, like, because people know about it and people judge you by your actions. Is this true or not? Of course. Main way we judge people is by their actions. So what you do is who you are. People don't judge you by what you say. If you say, this is what I do, but it's not who I am, but you're doing the thing all the time, do people judge you by that? Or do they judge you by the fact you said, well, I do it all the time, but it's not me? It doesn't make any sense. You spend 10 hours a day at work. You're working 60-hour weeks, Monday through Friday. And then you're going to tell somebody, well, hey, that's what I do 10 hours a day, but hey, it's not who I am as a person. Yes, it is. You work 10 hours a day. That's not who you are as a person. Then why are you doing it? I'm pausing there because I want that one to sink in. All right. If that's not who you are, why are you doing it? You are your actions. And people judge you by your actions. People do not judge you by what you say. They judge you by what you do. And if there's a conflict between what you say and what you do, people will only look at what you do because they'll learn to not trust your words. And if you're spending half of your waking life doing a thing, I would suggest you find something that you're actually good at. So at least you can be good at it, even if you don't like it. At least be good at it. Because if you're doing a shitty job at whatever you spend half your waking life doing, then people are going to think of you that way too. All right? It's equal opportunity out here, folks. What you do is who you are. Regardless of how much you don't want to be identified by your behaviors, you always will be identified by your behaviors. This is the main way that people judge others, including you. As the saying goes, how you do anything is how you do everything. Everybody's heard that before? Okay, so even though you may not connect your personal identity or your ego with your career or your job, it is still a reflection of who you are as a person because it is you who's showing up to do the job. When you show up to do plumbing jobs every day, it's you who's showing up. So how you show up is how you're going to be judged. If you do a shitty job as a plumber, people are going to say, well, Joe the plumber's trash. Now, is that all of your identity, that you're a Joe the plumber? No, but did Joe the plumber show up and do a terrible job? Yes. This is what it is. What more do you want? I mean, what do you want? That's how it works. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is why you do not want work-life balance. Number 2, if you're in the sales game, the sales industry is not regulated by the clock. So I will tell you up front that this topic here actually came from, I should have said this in the intro. I came up with this topic first because I was doing some sales training for a sales organization. They're in the insurance industry. And the people in charge said to me, Dre, I want you to talk about this subject of work-life balance. And some of our staff, they're looking for work-life balance. And we need them to understand that in the sales game, it's not really about how much time you spend working. It's about the actual work that gets done. So this point is specific to that group. And all of you are in sales, by the way, in case you didn't know. The sales industry is not regulated by the clock. What that means is if you're in the business of making sales, your job is done when you get done making sales, not when you have put in a certain amount of time. It's regulated. Sales industry is regulated by successful transactions. And all of you, whatever industry you're in, you need to know what outcomes need to happen for me to know that the day has been a success. And your day is complete when those outcomes are completed. So whether you're in sales or something else, once I know I've done this, then I know I'm good for the day. If you're in the business of generating leads and you need to put 50 leads into the CRM by the end of the day, as soon as you get 50 leads in the CRM, your work is done for the day. If that means you got to work an hour extra, do it. If it means you work an hour less because you got your work done faster, completely fine. Just make sure the work is done. Remember what business we're in, folks. We're in a performance and a results-based business. We are not in a time-based business. Time matters a ton. You better respect time, and you better be looking to perform and produce results within a certain amount of time because you can't run out of it. They call that dying. But the business we're in is performance and results. So what result needs to be performed? What result needs to be performed to get to where you can say, okay, the job's done? If you happen to be in the sales business, again, all of you are, but many people think that they're not. Understand that your work time is based on completed tasks, not elapsed time. Completed tasks, not elapsed time. If you are in sales and your job is to make 2 sales per day, you should be working until you have 2 sales done. If you happen to do 2 sales in an hour, okay, then you got more time to do other things. Maybe you can bank some extra sales so that on days when it's slow, you got those extra 3 sales from the other day. Okay, that can make up for the day where you only got 1. All right. If you happen to get things done quickly, you can do other stuff. If it takes you longer, then it takes as long as it takes. As a salesperson, your results and your future in business and how you will ultimately be judged are based on what? Those of you in the sales business. Not based on how much time you spent working. There's no award in sales for how much time you spent working. The award is based on how many sales you made. You ever been to a sales conference and you see people getting awards and recognition? Have you ever seen someone get an award or recognition at a sales conference for how much time they spent working? No, because there's no award for that. And nobody gives a damn about that. But have you ever seen someone get an award at a sales or marketing or business conference for how many sales they made, how many new clients they registered, how many successful transactions, how much money got brought in? You see people get awards for that? People get awards for that every day. Nobody gets awards for how much time they spend at work. Let's get this guy an award. He worked 80-hour weeks all year. All right, what did you achieve in those 80-hour weeks? Because that's what you should get the award for, the achievement, not the time. Everybody follow this? And anyway, why would you give awards for time when everybody has an equal amount? I mean, what award are you giving out? I'd rather give an award for accomplishment. I don't care how much time it took you, because we're in a results-based business, not the time-based business. And again, I told you, very soon, everybody's going to be an entrepreneur where getting paid for your time will be a thing of the past. And if you're getting paid for your time now, cherish this moment because it will disappear. Okay, it's going to disappear before you die. You better cherish this moment. You are not going to get paid for time. If it takes long, it takes long. If it takes less, it takes less. It's not about how much time you spent, but what you accomplished. Remember, we're in business about results, not in the business of effort. That's not to say that effort does not matter. Our hard work does matter. My brand is called Work on Your Game. But hard work is not the determining factor on whether or not you are successful at your job. You are judged by your results. That's how we know if you're good or not. That's simply how all of life works. In case you didn't know, we judge things and people by the outcomes they produce, not by the intentions of their behaviors. We judge things and people by the outcomes they produce, not by the intentions of their behaviors. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is why you do not necessarily want work-life balance. Number 3, but what about the life part? I mean, I was supposed to be talking about that too, right? I say you don't want work-life balance. I've been talking about work. What about life? I haven't discussed that yet. Okay, so let me do that here. When you excel at your work, you will be afforded whatever life you want. When you excel at work, you will be afforded whatever life you want. This is all assuming that per one of our 12 work on your game commandments, that you are in the proper vehicle. You're in a proper vehicle. That means that vehicle is capable of producing for you the returns that you expect, want, or need based on the level of performance you're able to deliver. In other words, if you're the best in the world at the thing that you do, can your industry pay you the kind of money that you would expect to make or want or need based on being the best in the world at the thing that you do? The answer is yes, to stay in the industry you're in. The answer is no, you may need to find a new job. Maybe pivot careers. What industry is capable of giving you the returns that you want based on the things that you're doing? There's a musician by the name of Drake, not Dre, but Drake. And he said in one of his songs that he was doing TV. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he was acting on TV. Drake used to be an actor on some TV show up in Canada, and I guess it was in America. I never heard of the show, but he used to be an actor on the show. And he said the TV thing wasn't paying him enough. He needed something quicker and bigger. Now, he said it in a rap, so it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, we can say that the way things worked out, I think you can say retroactively he was telling the truth, because he got into the music game and he got a whole lot of success really fast and probably has made a lot of money. Point being, he was in the vehicle of being an actor and it wasn't getting him the results that he wanted, so he switched vehicles to music, and now he's starting to get the results that he wants, or at least he started to get the results that he wanted. All he did was switch vehicles. Some of you may be in a vehicle that no matter how good you do, it can't produce what you want, can't produce the life you want. Therefore, you're in the wrong vehicle. Or you're in a vehicle that can produce the life you want, but you just ain't that good at the thing. So no matter how much you work, you're not going to get the result that you want because you're not quite that good to produce that result. You need to find a new vehicle. So you got to find a vehicle that makes the most sense for you. So is it possible that you can make millions of dollars playing in the NBA? Yes, but if you're 5 feet 4 inches tall and you can't jump, are you going to make millions of dollars in the NBA? Probably not. You probably need to find a different vehicle than basketball. You understand? So the vehicle is relative to the person. The right vehicle for me could be the wrong vehicle for you, and vice versa. Most of us want the work-life balance so that we have time to enjoy everything that we do that is not work-related. That makes sense, right? So you can enjoy your family, your kids, and the weekends, and going to parties, and whatever else you do when you're not working. Now, let me ask you a question. To live the life outside of work that you want, what do you need? To live the life that you want to live outside of work, what will you need? You probably want some people around you who you love and whose company you enjoy. You probably need some resources so you can go places, so you can buy stuff, so you can have experiences. And we all reasonably understand that these things don't just magically fall out of the sky, right? So how do we get them? Usually, to live the life that you want, it needs to be provided by the resources you get from the work that you do. Therefore, you do a good job at work, you get the money. Then with the money, now you can pay for those vacations. You can pay for those hotel stays. You can buy that car. You can buy that house. You can pay for your friends to come on a trip with you and do all the other stuff that you want to do. But you probably need some resources. All right. So the theory that I'll submit to you is that if you perform at your highest level at work, that will allow you to live a completely fulfilled life in any way you would like to live it. But you got to do your job at work in order to get the life. You don't get the work based on your life. You get the life based on your work. That's how it works. The life that you want outside of work is not free. Can we all agree? Your work performance pays for, subsidizes the life that you would like to live. So if you want to live a better life, you need to produce better work in the right vehicle at the right time for the right prices. That's how you get to live the life you want. Your work performance pays for the life. So if you want a better life, do better work. Another note in this concept of balance. Balance does not mean everything being evenly distributed. Balance just means everything needs to add up to 100. So if something's 80 and other things 20, that adds up to 100, we're good. A balanced diet, for example, does not mean you eat the same amount of sweets and fried foods as you eat fruits and vegetables. No, that's not balance. Balance just means 1% sweets and fried food, 99% fruits and vegetables. It sounds like a better balance to me. Out of 100%, you just find the right percentages for everything that is in accordance with your priorities. That's how you decide what balance is. And someone will hear this and say, well, Dre, what's the right balance? What's the optimal balance? How do I know if I'm balanced properly? Well, what are your priorities? What's the goal? Where are we trying to get to? Anytime someone comes to me and asks me for help or asks me a question, the first thing I want to know is what's the goal? What are you actually trying to achieve? Because I don't want to assume, nor do I want to give you advice based on what I think your goal is or what I think your goal should be. I want to know what your goal actually is. When I know what your goal is, I can advise you on anything. But I got to know the goal. And if you don't know the goal, then I can't know the goal. Therefore, I can't help you. So let's figure out the goal first. So balance means everything needs to be evenly distributed, not evenly, but properly distributed so that it adds up to 100 with respect to the priority, or priorities plural. Let's recap today's class, which is why you do not want work-life balance. This has become a more popular thing as we've gone on. I didn't hear my parents ever talk about work-life balance, but people talk about it a lot here today. I'm going to tell you why you might not want it. Number one, when you say it's what I do, but it's not who I am, that's nonsense. What you do is who you are. Why? Because people judge you by your actions. If you spend half of your waking life at work, guess what people are going to judge you by? What you do. And what you do is what you spend half of your time awake doing. You have no choice but to be judged by it, so you might as well do it well. Number two, the sales industry is not regulated by the clock. It's regulated by successful transactions of whatever industry you are in. You need to know what needs to happen each day so that I know my day was successful. If you can't answer the question, then it's definitely not about the time clock. It's not, well, let me just put in 8 hours just to say I did 8 hours. All right, now you're just watching life go by. Don't do that. What outcomes need to be produced? What results need to be produced to where you can say this day is successful because I did this and this and this. That's how you regulate yourself when it comes to your work. Number three, what about the life part? This is where you understand that the more you excel at your work, the easier your life will be because you'll be able to afford whatever it is you want your life to look like. Houses, cars, clothes, family, friends, vacations, trips, nice dinners, whatever. That has to be paid for by somebody, right? I told you follow the money. All right, in order to follow the money, you need to go make some. And to make money, you need to be in the right vehicle, doing the right job at the highest possible level. You do that, you can live whatever life you want. All that said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to start living a life that you want to live, whether it be at your workspace, in your home space, in between, and getting it all aligned and in the right place, starting with your mindset, then going into clear strategies, systems to execute on a consistent basis, and being held accountable by me as your coach. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all